Welcome to Reality with Kiki. I'm your host, Kiki, and on this channel, we discuss reality TV, celebrity gossip, and viral topics. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like our content. You can also follow us on our Facebook page. A link will be in the description box below, and we also have it linked in our bio. Okay, so life after lockup. So we start this episode with Brittany and Co. They're going to try to bust down the door of the sober house because one, they want questions from Rob. Well, they want answers to their questions from Robert, and they want to pull the furniture out that they bought. So I'm just trying to understand how this all went down because Brittany and Kanan are saying everything is in Robert's name. The lease to the house, the bank accounts, all of these things. And I'm like, did y'all do any research as far as business? Because all of that stuff should have been in the business name. Why would they be in his name solely? Like, that's just a recipe for disaster. And obviously hindsight is 2020, but I don't I don't care who you are. I would never trust you with thousands of dollars of money with only you having access to that bank account. And not only that, like a crackhead at that, you let a man who uses drugs or who you thought was in recovery have access to your bank account knowing that at any moment, he can turn back to drugs. So Robert ends up calling the cops on them. That's the man who stole the stuff. And the cops tell them they can't do anything about this. This is a civil matter and that they have to leave. So then we move on to Lacey and Shane. I'm very tired. So Lacey is still on this trip. She believes that Shane is doing something, cheating. I don't know. Every time he says he's at the gym, she is not believing him. So she's like, you know what? Since you're always at the quote unquote gym, I'm going to come with you. We're going to do a workout and I'm going to see what you're doing. So they get there and he's talking to her about workouts. She not really paying attention. She looking around at every woman that's in the gym, trying to see some woman that he works with or whatever comes over and is like, oh, talking about her gains or something like that. Something to do with fitness. I don't know. And Lacey is just looking with that evil face like, oh, why you talking to my man? Then she also looking at him like, what you doing with her? And when the girl leaves, she goes and confronts Shane like, oh my God, like, why were you talking to her? Why did you tell her she looks good? And although maybe Shane shouldn't have said that the way that he did, in my eyes, it wasn't like he was trying to tell her that she looks good, like he wants to get with her. He was just like, your fitness, everything that you've been working on, it looks good. So I'm just like, Lacey, it's too insecure for me. Also, this boy's like 9 or 10 years younger than her. I don't know why she has such a high expectation. Maybe because they're married, right? Like if he made a commitment, age is not an excuse, but he's so young. I would never date somebody that much younger than me and take them seriously. But now that she did, like she needs to deal with it. And I understand that like he has given you a reason to feel like he may be doing something because he did cheat on you in the past. Like Lacey, you're not innocent. You're literally talking to your ex. So what's the big deal? Deontay. Deontay. He works my nerves. Like He said, I saw an interview where he said he doesn't have any like mental disabilities or anything like that, but like I don't like you seem slow to me because what is the reason for you meeting up with Nicole? She showed you who she was. Why are you so obsessed? I don't get it. Like this girl is running so much game on him and it's not even like no real finesse and like it's just basic stuff that anybody should be able to point out, see the red flags and realize like this girl don't really want to be with you. So she goes from talking to Tia and talking about how she doesn't have any money and all of these things she's gonna call Deontay. Tia doesn't really want it, but she approves. And now all of a sudden you're meeting up with him and you feel bad and you start crying these crocodile tears about how you messed up with him. It's just not what's not clicking, Deontay. Oh, they of course Deontay starts being dramatic and starts feeling so bad for her. Oh my gosh, she's gotten so much skinnier since the last time I seen her. I feel bad. I should have fought for her more. What are you fighting for? You can't fight for something that don't want you or somebody who don't want to be with you. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And he keeps comparing her to his ex, who he felt like he could have saved. And it's just like, why do you feel like that is your job? And why do you think that this is the same exact person? Like it's just it's not making sense to me. So Nicole gets into how this is hard to have this conversation with him and she's had COVID twice and all of these things and she's so sorry she didn't mean to get out and run into her ex and fall in love with her again and Deontay is like, well why would you do this to me? Right? And I think he's going off like I've done all these things for you. I showed you so much love. You did not return that to me. And it's like yes, Nicole needs to be accountable for her actions, but there comes a point in time where you let it happen to you. Like everybody around you is telling you. Your mother knew from jump. Your friend is trying to tell you stop trying to be with this girl. She's playing games with you. But you still want to proceed and try to have a relationship with her or have relations with her. I don't know. And then she goes on to say she didn't come out and mean to lead him on. She didn't mean to be a POS and cut him off and block him and all of this. And it's just like, girl, save it. Just save it. So Deontay is trying to figure out why he's here. He's like, why am I here? Nicole's like, oh, I miss you and I love you. And I really had a lot of love for you. You were my best friend while I was in prison. I used to talk to you all the time. And basically that she want to be back in his life and she wants to know if he wants to be friends or have a she call it a three-way relationship like they discussed before. And to me that's nonsense because if she wanted to be poly or date multiple people, then she would have been seriously trying to date you. Like she was putting you off from like jump. And this fool is really considering it. Like he's like, "You really want to do that?" And it's like, "Do you want to do it? Why would you agree to something like that?" But he will do anything just to get some of them cookies. So Sean is giving Sarah an ultimatum because he hasn't seen her since he got out, and he's like, "Oh, I moved here for her. I'm in this big old house all by myself, and he wants her there. So he's like, I'm gonna send you an address. If you meet me there, then I guess we're gonna move forward. If you don't, then it's over." And Sarah said she was a little pissed about the ultimatum, but she didn't really show it, or at least not to him. And from there, she tells her mom what happened and is talking about, how she's trying to turn a new leaf. And a part of her feels like Sean could be a part of that journey for her to move her in a positive direction from before. And she was just crying and upset about what she went to prison for. And she injected a I'm just curious to know like how that person's family would receive that. Um like my loved one is no longer here and now the person who was a part of them leaving this earth wants to apologize. I don't know if I would want to hear anything that they had to say. So Brittany and Ray for some reason is like feeling some type of way about not meeting Brittany's mom even though her mom doesn't want to meet him. So Brittany thinks it's a good idea to pop up on her mom at her parents' home with Ray, and she tells him to stay in the car. She's gonna go in and kind of like give her mom a heads up, and then they can, sit down and have a conversation. I don't know. I think a part of it is he wants to prove himself to her mom to let her know like he really is serious about getting his life together and being with her and then building. But I do think that like Brittany gives him more credit than what it's worth. So like she's like talking to her mom like, why is it that you don't want to meet him and he has all these plans for us? And it's just like, maybe y'all talked about it while he was in jail, but it seems like you are the person that's putting the plans together and he's kind of following it along, but he knows that like he got to get himself in order and it's going to take a lot to do that. Like he's trying to get reacclimated to being on the outside and she's just immediately trying to jump into like having a life, having a family and doing all these different things. So mom is like, ain't gonna happen. I don't want to meet him at this time. He needs to prove himself. And her mom is also weary just because of the past relationship that Brittany was in where she met a guy that was in prison and he ended up being a horrible person and she just wants to move fast, fast, fast. And everybody else is just like, you're not even taking precaution. And I don't know if, it's a southern thing or what, but I'm just like, for Brittany, one, you're grown, right? Two, you're going to do what you want to do anyway, whether your mother is supportive or not. So, what is the big deal about the meeting? Just move forward. So, we get back to Deontay and Nicole. And she's, waiting for him to answer if he would like to be in a three-way relationship. And in his mind, he is going to be with two women talking about that's, always been his dream. And I'm like, what makes you think that Tia wants to be with you? She is giving me lesbian, not bisexual. So where did she bring up that it was you were going to have access to both Nicole and Tia? Like, see, this is where I'm saying things are not clicking in his mind. Like, why would you even come up with that idea? So he said it's every man's dream, but he does not want to share Nicole with anybody. He wants her all to himself. So he gonna think about it and about having the poly relationship. And Nicole's like, "Oh, can you take me home?" And he looking at her crazy. And so she's like, "Well, I can walk." And he like, "Oh, come on, I ain't gonna let you walk home." Like another manipulation tactic, whatever. She's like, "All right, so bring me home." So they drive in or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I like your necklace." And he like, "Well, it would have been yours, but And she's like, "Well, you can still give it to me or whatever, whatever." So as they're pulling up to her house, he's asking her, "How you doing financially?" And she's like, "Well, I'm broke. I can't pay for anything. Oh, I had to cancel my boob job." Girl, you knew you didn't have the money when you tried to book that date for that surgery. So you can miss me with that. But then she's like, "Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Please think about the relationship, blah, blah, blah." So in his mind, he's thinking that, oh, because she didn't ask me for money, even though she's broke, maybe she really does care about me. Maybe she really does love me. And it's just like, how you don't see the game? That's all a part of the game. because the whole reason for her meeting up with him, it was to get money from him, but she wants to get back in his good graces. Like, why do you have to be so slow? And it was like, right, there's no issue with if he want to give her money, he want to spend money on her, that's his business. If she want to use him for money, that's her business. But he got to stop acting like because this person is dependent on you or because this person needs you, that transcends to love. Like you're being used and then you act confused when you get played. It's not making sense. Yeah, and I don't know who Nicole is trying to convince, us or herself, but she's like, "Oh, Tia thinks that I'm only trying to bring Deontay in the relationship for money, but that's not true. I actually like spending time with him." Girl, you are only doing it for money. That's what the premise of the conversation was that you had with Tia. And if you like spending so much time with him, why you was trying to avoid him like basically the entire time that y'all was supposed to be together once you got out of jail. And I guarantee you, if Tia was well off and was able to provide for Nicole and gave her money, she would not be thinking about Deontay. She would not be trying to bring him back in the picture, but she knows that he is a pay pig. He's a trick. So why not have him around? All right, so we switch back to Brittany and Ray, and they drive home because her mom doesn't want to meet Ray, and Ray is feeling some type of way. He's like, I don't understand why her mom doesn't want to meet me. Anybody else I dated, their parents always loved me, and I'm trying to, do good. Like, what's the problem? And he feels like because when her mom is looking at him on paper, she's judging him. He feels like he's not good enough for her. And Brittany's like, no, you're good enough for me. And she's trying to have him help her practice making a baby because she's ovulating. And he's like, I'm not in the mood for that. And Brittany is like, well, we don't have a lot of time. We need to get things cracking. And a part of me is just like, why is he so concerned with meeting her mother? But actually, like, when I think about it, if they are supposed to be getting serious, they're supposed to be getting married, having a baby, all of these things, especially as quickly as Brittany is trying to make it happen, he should meet her mother. Like, if we're gonna be a family, I need to know everybody. And he does bring that up. He's like, do you think it's smart for you to be trying to get pregnant and I haven't even met your mother yet? Like, what if we have the baby and I still didn't meet your mother yet and she's gonna, judge me even more? So it seems like Ray is just trying to do the right thing, like through and through, with everything in his life. He's trying to be on the straight and narrow. Yeah, so Brittany is saying that she has a big secret that she hasn't told Ray as as a reason for why she is trying to move so quickly with having a baby. And Ray is just like, not tonight. We ain't getting to it. Sean and Sarah, their ending scene. She actually shows up to the restaurant diner or whatever it was to meet with him, and they're just having a conversation. And he's like, he want to spend more time with her, and she's like, well, you can take me tanning, and he's like, am I gonna get stuck with paying for it? And men like that confuse me because I'm pretty sure, Sean, you was tricking off on her while she was in prison, giving her thousands of dollars, and now it's a problem for you to pay for a little tanning. Like, come on now. So we end this episode with Shane and Lacey, and Shane is like, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not cheating on you. I'm here. I'll take a polygraph test if that will make you stop. And Lacey is like, yeah, let's do it. Because she feels like he's holding back. He has some secrets. So there's so many secrets being held throughout this episode. I'm just curious to know what Brittany's secret is. I think that Brittany is older than what she says she is, and she's trying to hurry up and have a baby because her window is about to close to have a baby. Let me know what you think it is down in the comments below, and I will speak to you next time.